Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Today I have a Transformers Generations Titans Return review for you. This is Zort and Highbrow. In the original G1, his headmaster's name was Gort with a G, but I don't know if that's an unavailable name or it's been trademarked or something. I'm not really 100% sure. But it's Zort now, and that looks like it has been trademarked, so I guess they figured let's get what we can and we'll hold it. So, Zort and Highbrow. But anyway, taking a look on the back, you can see he is a robot mode. He is a headmaster slash Titan Master. Really nice helicopter vehicle mode here. I'll try to zoom in on his bio. It's probably... focus a little bit there. So it says, Autobots unite with Titan Master partners to power up for battle. Always says that. It says, the gravity disruptors of Zort give Highbrow the power to manipulate gravitational fields. So apparently Zort has gravity powers. So that's neat. Taking a look over here, you can see there's the Titan Master size class, the Deluxe size class, the Voyager, and the Leader. And it shows Alpha Trion and Soundwave. Have not been able to find these guys yet. Reviewed Chrome Dome already. I think it's funny that the Legends class is not featured on here, but that's because Legends class does not use the Titan Master gimmick, so they're only showing off the Titan Master classes here on the back. But I gotta say, this guy looks fantastic. I never had the original G1 toy of Highbrow, so I was very excited to get a hold of this guy. And he looks great from everything I can tell. So let's get him out of the packaging and we'll take a closer look. So here's Highbrow out of the packaging. Real quick, we'll take a look at the card that he comes with. Pretty simplistic. Same as all the other cards. Just a nice little bit of artwork here on the front. It says Titans Return. It's nice, solid cardboard. So it's not that you couldn't bend it, but it's a little bit more durable than just normal cardboard, which I appreciate. Take a look on the back. You see the normal stats for Highbrow in red. And then you have when you add Zort or Gort. I'm probably just going to call it Gort from now on. So, that increases to the blue stats here. I think it's funny, in the original G1, he was kind of supposed to be really smart, but here they have him more strong, and then speed is his secondary characteristic, so I don't know if that's something from the IDW comics. I'm not up to date on them, I will admit. So that might be from that, but I know his G1 was supposed to be pretty smart, but that seems to be actually his least stat here, so that's interesting. But it's a nice card. I'm just going to put that off to the side. That's kind of all that does. But taking a look at the figure here, it looks pretty good. And I think it's funny, in the way that Chrome Dome was kind of a remold, or at least shared some characteristics of the blur mold, particularly in his feet. Highbrow shares some of the characteristics from the Scourge mold, but don't worry, that doesn't mean that he's a bad figure. He's got kind of the same weird head connector up here. So I go ahead and take the headmaster off. See what I'm talking about? That same kind of like raised up connector port, which I think is weird. I like it better when it just kind of fits into the body and it's not raised up, because then it kind of rocks back and forth. But this guy doesn't suffer from it as bad as Scourge did. The headmaster joint to swivel the head from side to side still works nice, but it does kind of rock forward and back a little bit. So I think that's just a bad design for that raised up connector, which is just kind of a shame. But at least he doesn't suffer from it as bad as Scourge does. But taking a look here at the Titan Master or Headmaster, really great job on the head sculpt there. I love that. His kind of aviator glasses visor looks fantastic there. And when you transform him into his Titan Master mode, I don't know why, but it really reminds me of Beachcomber. I think it's the solid blue head with the silver visor is really what reminds me of Beachcomber. But it's a really cool design there. I like that a lot. So, gonna go ahead and pop him back on. Very simple to do. Zoom back out here. He does come with these two guns. They fit very easily into his hands, so you can go ahead and pop them in. And he looks good wielding them. So I like that a lot. The other thing you can do is they can combine. So you can see there's a little bit of blue paint here and on the handles, which looks pretty good. But then these two blue pieces are going to actually sandwich together. And then you get kind of a larger blaster. So if we take the Titan Master off again, there's two little pegs right there. You can peg him in, and then he can kind of ride this around. So that's kind of neat. I'm going to put that off to the side for now, and we'll focus on the body here. Nice paint details. I really do like it a lot. The paint here, the red and yellow here, the Autobot symbol with some nice silver paint there. All of these joints are pretty nice and tight, I have to say. There's kind of a ratchet where the shoulder actually kind of connects to the body, and then there's a ball joint where the arm kind of connects to that shoulder joint. So you have that movement. Then you have 90 degrees here in the elbow. And I believe, yes, there's also a swivel, so you can swivel that. You can see the swivel, the joint is in there, so it's a little tight, but yeah, there we go. We can swivel it from side to side. He's also got the same kind of weird arms, or hands, I should say, from Scourge, because they rotate into the forearm, but they kind of like, I don't know, they just look a little weird to me, the way they kind of like fly out to the side. But again, his work a little better than Scourge's does. Scourge's do, in any case. He's got a ratchet here in the hip joint. No waist articulation. He's got these rotors for the helicopter, which they don't really lock in place anywhere, but it's not really a problem. They're just kind of on the back of his arms. But anyway, back to the hips. They ratchet out to the side and forward and back. Then you have a thigh swivel. Then you have a little bit more than 90 degrees in the knee. And then the feet here are one solid piece, but he has heels on the back here. And the only reason they move is to fold up for the transformation. But he's got nice sizable heels. And love the red stripe here. You have a little bit of paint here, some gray here, and like the gyro of the helicopter. Just really nice paint all around. The kind of grayish here into the blue. I think they did a great job painting this guy. He really looks nice, even the paint on the guns. And nice articulation too. No complaints there. Overall, I think the robot mode is pretty fantastic. But we'll go ahead and we'll get into the transformation. So I'm leaving the headmaster and the guns off for the transformation. It's actually pretty simple. You're going to start by just rotating the hands into the forearms like that, just like Scourge. You're going to come down here to the legs, and this is the second place where it kind of shares the Scourge, actually the third place, I guess, where it shares the Scourge mold, because you're going to pull this out, just like you did with the legs for Scourge. Then you're going to kind of turn these in while you fold these heels in, just like that. And then you're just going to rotate this up, and it's going to collapse in. Now you'll see here there's a spot for 2 tabs, and the tabs are inside here. So you just have to be careful when you fold it up, because you want it to tab into that. And the first one is easier to do. When you get to the second one, there's a tab here as well, and that's going to tab into this hole here. So you kind of have to like lift it up and tab it in at the same time, but it can be done. And then it all fits in really nice and snugly once you do it. So you can see that's going to form pretty much the whole back part of the helicopter mode. But it's really nice. It fits together perfectly. The red lines look fantastic. Really nice job there. Then you're just going to kind of rotate these down. And you can see there's a tab. Let me get a little bit closer. There's a tab right there. And that's going to go in right here. There's a spot for it. So you're just going to bring that down. And it's going to tab close to the body there. The other thing is, you can see here, there's kind of a little tab right there, and that's just for the top part of what was the shin guard, or knee guard. So you're going to kind of rotate this down and peg that all into place. So it really just leaves the rotors there, just pegged against the body. I mean, they kind of look a little out of place, but not really, in my opinion. You get used to it real quick. And then this piece, of course, is just going to swing down very simply like this. Now this chest piece, it kind of pops out a little bit, and I really think that's just to give a little bit more definition to the chest. If you want to leave it pushed in all the time, you certainly can. It makes no difference. It's not like the original G1 where that can open and show the stats, because none of these do that. But I think it's just to give the chest cavity a little bit more pronounced look to it. But if you want to go ahead and leave that pushed in flush all the time, you certainly can. There's no problem there. So then here we go. This is the vehicle mode. I think it looks fantastic. Again, with the paint, I think they did a fantastic job. The canopy looks great. This one for me spins a lot more than the other one does, but that's just, I think, is this just a little bit tighter. But it's really no big deal. It doesn't bother me at all. You can still spin it. It still gives off the helicopter alt mode. And I think it looks great. So I'll show off a couple more things you can do with the alt mode here. So as you can see, the alt mode does lie pretty flat by itself, just resting. It does have a piece of landing gear here on the bottom. Let me tilt this up. So you can kind of, it's a little bit easier to lift this up. Just have to be careful where the rotors are when you lift this up and out. But it's a little bit easier to get the landing gear down like that. So it does have that piece of landing gear, which then would make it seem like it's off balance. But you can bring this piece back in and separate this. And then there's holes underneath. Now you can use either set of holes. The directions recommend this one, but it is possible to use this one. I'm going to use this one though. So you can put that underneath here like that. And then that kind of works with the landing gear to give it some stability. So I think that looks pretty good. The other thing you can do if you want to pop this back in, take these off, put these back together, and then you can peg this into the side here. There's a hole. So you can peg that on there. And then he can have that on the side. If he wants to carry a second Titan Master, he can sit in there. So I think that's pretty neat. A lot of options. Always a lot of playability with this line. And then, of course, you can open up the canopy here. And your Zort or Gort, whatever you'd like to call him, Titan Master, can fit right inside there. Fits perfectly. And I think it's cool. You can even see him through the canopy. He looks fantastic in there. So I think they absolutely nailed it with the vehicle mode. The colors, the paint, everything looks really nice. The canopy they did a great job with. The Titan Master fits in there great. I really have no complaints with this vehicle mode whatsoever. I gotta say, I really love Highbrow. Not having the original toy as a kid, I was really excited to get my hands on this guy, and he did not disappoint. Even though he does share some mold similarities with Scourge, I feel like he really doesn't suffer from those QC issues as bad as Scourge did. The only one that I even really notice a problem with is the head connector is that same kind of weird head connector, but for whatever reason, his isn't as loose and shaky as Scourge's head connection is. So I appreciate that. Whatever they fixed, they found some way to make it a little bit better at least. So I think this guy's great. He's one of the original 4 Headmasters, so you should definitely pick him up. It's a great mold, it's a great toy, and it's just a really fun robot mode and a really fun vehicle mode. I mean, there are a couple nitpicky things, like I said, the head connection, but it's really just for the sake of trying to find a flaw. I really like this toy. I recommend it. If you're collecting this line, this guy does not disappoint. He's an excellent addition to the Deluxe class. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinions. Please like and share this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you've enjoyed this look at Deluxe Highbrow with Zort, aka Gort, from Titan's Return, and thank you so much for watching.